Welcome back to another installment of our series, Debunking Historical Myths that many people still believe today. And in this video, I got 3 more myths. And they're all based off of one person, and that is none other than George Washington himself. Yeah, the man who led us through the American Revolution and became our first ever president has many myths that people still believe about him. And today we'll be debunking 3 of those myths. So without further ado, let's get started. For our first one, we have George Washington cutting down his father's cherry tree. This story is nothing more than just a myth. It was invented by biographer Mason Locke Weems, who wrote a book called The Life of George Washington, and it came out in 1806, which was about 7 years after George Washington's death. The story goes, when George Washington was 6 years old, he was gifted a hatchet by his father. And George Washington decided to go put that hatchet to use and go cut his father's cherry tree. He went to George Washington and asked him. George Washington bravely said, and I quote, "I cannot tell a lie, I did cut it with my hatchet." Instead of punishing him, his father praised him for being so honest and declared that his son's honesty was worth more than 1,000 trees. Despite having no historical evidence, the story does send a really good message, for it basically says that the truth will always set you free. And to any kid watching this video, I can speak from experience that if you tell the truth, the punishment will be a lot easier. Because if you lie, it would not. So remember, if you do something wrong, always tell the truth, because the punishment will be a lot easier. For our next one, we have George Washington having wooden teeth. This myth is also false. He did wear dentures, but they weren't made out of wood. They were actually made out of ivory, gold, lead, and brass. There's a few other ingredients, but I'm not going to say those because I'm going to keep the gross factor to a minimum. So if y'all want to look it up, go right ahead, but I'm not going to say it. Now, these ingredients did give the dentures a wooden appearance, and I guess that's where the myth came from. So long story short, Washington never had wooden teeth. For our last one, we have George Washington was the first president of the United States. Now, this is true in some way. He was the first president of the United States, but he was the first under a new constitution. He was technically not the first leader of the United States, because we had something else before the constitution that we have today, and it was called the Articles of Confederation. And under the Articles of Confederation, we had several leaders. And these were John Hanson, who served from 1781 to 1782. Elias Boudinot? Did I say that correctly? I think I did. Please tell me I did. It was Elias Boudinot. No, that's not right. Yeah, here we go. Elias Boudinot. That's what I see. I don't know how you pronounce it or how you say it, but that's what I see. Anyways, he served from 1782 to 1783. And the third one, we have Thomas Mifflin, who served from 1783 to 1784. Then Richard Henry Lee, who served from 1784 to 1785. John Hancock, who served from 1785 to 1786, and was also the first person to sign the Declaration of Independence. Nathaniel Gorham, I think that's how you pronounce his name, who served from 1786 to 1787. We also had Arthur St. Clair, who served in 1787, and that was it, apparently. And last but not least, we had Cyrus Griffin, who was the last president of the Articles of Confederation, and he served from 1788 to 1789. Now, the Articles of Confederation was very weak. It did not have an executive or judicial branch. It was mainly just the Congress running the country. And during the American Revolution, the Continental Congress did in fact run the country before we had the Constitution. Now, the goal for the Articles of Confederation was primarily to establish a formal structure for the states while they were still fighting the British tyranny. And along the way, like I said, it did have a lot of issues with it. For no power to regulate their commerce, no power to tax, not having an executive or judicial branches, and also needing unanimous consent from all 13 states in order to amend the Articles of Confederation. And so later in 1789, we established the Constitution of the United States that we have today. And George Washington became our first president to actually lead the country under the new Constitution. And that will end it for today's video. Thank you for watching. If you like this video, feel free to hit that subscribe button that will appear somewhere around here. And also hit that notification bell too, so that way you'll be notified on the next time I upload a new video. Hope you all enjoyed it, and I'll see you all in the next one.